Hello guys, so in this video we are going to see how we can build a customized AI chatbot that we can feed in our own data, right? So this time we are using Pinecode, we are using Flowwise, and we are going to set it up so that it will use our custom information, and then we pass it to OpenAI's GPT, right? So it's very exciting. So let me just give you a quick demonstration. So it says, "Hi, how can I help you?" And I'll say, who are your target audience? Let's just go with that. Who are your target audience? So I basically fed it with information from this site, so it's customized to this. And then yes, great. So it feeds us information, and then give me the email to contact you on, right? To contact you on. Great. Yes, great. So it works fine, and this is very cool. So that's what we are going to be building in this video. Now it's not difficult, right? It's not difficult. So we are going to be using Flowwise, we'll be using Pinecone, and then we'll use OpenAI. So these are the three things we need. Now you will also need to go and set up a GitHub account. So get these things done, and I'll catch you after the intro. Okay, so to start off, we need to head over to Flowwise. That's where we are going to get the repository, right? So in your browser, just search Flowwise, and then it should be this first link, right? So flowwise.com. So what we are going to do is we are going to clone it onto our GitHub repository. So things you must have an account on GitHub where you can fork the repository, and then you must have Pinecode, and then render. Okay, so those are the three things we can use. I'll show you the other things later. So over here, go to let me open up the docs first, and then because we'll be referencing some things here, and then head over to GitHub. So over here we are going to fork this repository. So if you want to know how to fork it, just click on this icon, right? So click on fork repository, and then we are moving it on to our own repository. So here it's called Flowwise, right? So let's just leave it at that, and then click on create fork, right? So give it some time. Good. And now we have it on our own repository. Now I understand the reason why I'm doing it this way and not cloning it onto my local machine is it's a little heavy, and getting it to run and then later pushing it back up in order to work on the cloud, it's a lot of work. So why not just clone it, put it on render directly, and then you can still work on it, although it will be a little risky. But I'm sure you find this much more better, right? So let's head over. So after this we need to head over to render, right? So head over to render, and then you can either sign in with your email or password. If you don't have an account, sign up, but I'm going to go with GitHub. Okay, so sign in with GitHub, and then what we need to do is we need to create a new web service. So if we head over to, so click on new, and then web service, right? So we need to connect our GitHub account and then the repository we just cloned, right? So Flowwise over here. So click on connect, and so I'll show you the trade-offs. Okay, so let me call it we are creating it for DeWarrior. So DeWarrior AI, right? Let's call it DeWarrior AI. Good. And then we leave it at this Docker. Good. So this place is very, very important. I after testing it out, I realized that for after some time, if you are using the free plan, it tends to go off. Whatever you built will usually doesn't last for long. So if you have the resources, I'll recommend you go with either the starter plan, which is $7 a month, or you go with any of these plans. But if you just want to follow along with this tutorial in order to see how it goes, you can go with this, but it is at the risk that whenever there's a restart or there's a redeploy, you lose whatever you've done. Okay, so that's just the downside to using this. I'll show you how Hugging Face and the other platforms also work, right? And then you can choose how you wish to do that. So let's go with the free. I know I'm only using this for the tutorial, so that's why I'm going with this. So let's go with the free, but I'll recommend that you go with this plan, okay, so that you set up the disk space and then you don't get those annoying errors. So go with this one, and then we need to set up environment variables. So head over to Flowwise. We need to configure some few things. So go to configuration and then deployment. Good. So we can deploy it onto all these either of these platforms: Render, Railway, Replit, Hugging Face, AWS, Azure, DigitalOcean, GCP. So your favorite, depending on the one you want to use, you can put it on there. So I was able to put it on Hugging Face, and then I tested it out on Hugging Face and Render. So if you look at so let's check out Hugging Face before I come back to Render, then I'll show you something. So Hugging Face, you basically get this for free, and then that's just it, right? You copy this code and then you set it up and then you are done. But I realized that after some time it's slower. Okay, so if you want to see how this is done, maybe I don't know, let's see if we're able to finish early. I'll make one for Hugging Face as well, but let's just stick to the plan. So Render, we go to Render, and then what we need to do is to set up setting up the username and password is optional. You can choose to do that, right? But what we need to set is the node version. Okay, good. So you copy this node version. Let's head back to Render, then paste it in node version, and I think it's 18.18.1. good. 18.18.1. Copy that. That's the most important thing, right? Set it in, and then if you want to use the password, those things, fine, you can do that, but I don't think I'll need that. So here, just click on create web service, and it will take a little bit of time. So it will clone it, install the various things it needs to install, and then so over here in the logs we see that it's building. It will take a little bit of time, so just have patience. Grab yourself a cup of coffee or something else. So while it is doing this, let's go ahead and set up Pinecode. Okay, so I'll explain why we need that in a little bit. So go over here, search for Pinecode. Just search Pinecode, pinecone.io over here, and then let's sign up. So click on sign up. If you already have an account, you can log in, but this is my first time signing up here. So click on sign up. Right, so we either sign up with so I'm going to go with sign up with Google, right? There's no problem, and then just follow the authentication. Great. So we need to fill in some details here. So Pambo, and here you can choose personal or business, right? So if you choose personal, so let's just go with business, and let's call it DevSpace Systems, right? DevSpace Systems Business, correct. And then we want to build an AI application, and it's going to be a chat chatbot, or no, let's go an AI agent. Chatbot is sounds basic, right? So let's go with that, and my favorite language, JavaScript, right? So let's go complete, and let's continue with pod based index. Is fine. Great. Let's delete this. Great. Right, so now let's create a project. Let's call it the Warrior AI. The Warrior AI. Click on create project, and then we need to create an index. So the index, we come to create index. Let's call it the Warrior. The Warrior. Yeah, let's just call it the Warrior. So now the dimensions, if you click on the cosine, set up by model, right? We have this particular one, because we are going to be using ChatGPT or OpenAI's embeddings. Let's go with that one, 1536. So you can either choose to enter that manually or just click on here. So 1536, and then select GCP, and then this one. Now I noticed the naming convention, right? If you make it a capital or something, you will not be able to create it. So make it smaller case, right? Great. And then click on create index. So good, we have our index set up, and the only thing we are going to need is the name, and then we'll grab our API key. Good, so let's head back to render to see whether everything, right now we don't have any records yet. Let's see if render is done with the upload. Yes, and it is up. So over here it's running on port 1000. So come back to this, click on this link, and then we should have it running. Great. And so we should have this interface, that's the Warrior AI on render. Great. So this is what we want to have, right? So the next thing we need to do is we need to head over to the marketplace. So congratulations if you've made it this far. So head over to the marketplace. Now they have so many features. I can make a ton of videos on these things, like how to even create custom agents, right? Custom OpenAI assistants that you get to see them. Maybe if you want to see that, you can leave that in the comment section. I'll make a video on it. So over here, let's head over to the marketplace, right? And where they already have pre-made chat flows, right? Pre-made chat flows. Now we want to not how we want the agent to behave is we want it to use the technology of OpenAI, but customize it in such a way that it's using our own data. Yeah, so that's what we want to do. So scroll down, and then these are so many things you can use, right? But we are going to go with this one, the conversational retrieval Q&A chain. So click on that, and that will import the model for us. So we have it over here, and then we can click on use templates, right? So click on use templates, and then we have it here. Great. So over here you can find basic things like most of the things like these boxes, right? So if you need to add any type of node, so you can find these nodes over here. So if you want to add something like PDF, I'm going to use Word, right? Or docs. So that's from the document loader. So the type of documents we are going to upload, right? So let me just break it down a little. So the text splitter will split the text from this file and then pass it to Pinecode over here. Now it will also regurgitate those embeddings, or those what do you call it, vectors, right? So it will do that. We retrieve it, and then we pass it over to the conversation retrieval Q&A chain right over here. And then the open AI agent will be the chat model, and then we use this one too as our embeddings. So that's just it. So the only thing we are going to change here is the document. Now if you have a TXT, you can go with that. If you don't have a TXT, you can use docs, or you can go with PDF, right? PDF loader. So that is under the document loaders here, right? So if you also have it from any other source like Airtable, you can simply just connect them, or if you have a CSV file, you can do that as well. So I'm going to go with docs, co.docs, right? So I'm just going to click and drag it over here. Now the only thing I'm going to do is delete this and then replace it with this one. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll connect this node. Let me readjust it. Good. Connect this node over here, and then connect this one to why isn't good? Connect this to this. That's it. Great. So the next thing we need to do is we need to pass in our API keys, right? We need to pass in our API keys. So first thing, let's head over to Pinecone. That's what we just did right now. So I'm going to go to API keys and then copy it, right? Just copy the API key, and let's head back to Flowwise. And then here we need to create a new Pinecone, right? So click on create new. Let's call it Pinecone API key. Pinecone API key, and then just paste it in there. So click on add. No. And then we need to add in the index, right? So what's the name of that index? So the name of that index is the warrior, like this. Great. So copy that and let's add it. So where is it? Here. Great. Okay, so add it over here. Great. And now the other thing is to add in the OpenAI API key. So click on create new, and then we call it OpenAI. You can name it anything, right? API key, but something more descriptive will be fine. So I'll just paste in my API key over here. Now if you don't have it, you can head over to OpenAI. You can simply come to API keys over here and then generate a new one and then copy it. You get it? So you click on generate new secret key. You can give it any name like test key and then create secret, and then just copy that value, right? So but I'm not going to use this, and the reason is last time I left my API key open, I had a lot of unwanted visitors, so I'm not going to do that. I'll delete it immediately. Right, so I'm deleting it, but you can simply just create yours and then have it over there, right? Good. So now let's get back to work. So here as well, so good. So we have the API key over here. Now let's save this document. Let's call it the warrior AI agent, something like this. Click on save, and now over here in the embeddings we need to it's not yet saved. Let me see. I think so. When you see this little asterisk, it means it's not saved yet. So let's, okay, it's saying I should create a new key. Interesting. All right, but I already have it here. I'm wondering why it's asking for a new key as well. Okay, that's no problem. Let me save it, go back, come back in. Yes, so over here OpenAI API key. Great. So now that we have this, the last thing to do is to upload the document we want to get it from. So we click on upload file, and I'm going to upload it from my PC, right? So it's on my desktop. I created one file, yes, and then open. And then once it's done, click on, so let's save it first. Usually I want to save stuff. So once it's saved, you click on upset so that it will upset the data to Pinecone. So we upset it. I realized in a couple of tests, I realized without this you get errors. So you upset it, and then once it's successfully done, if we head over to Pinecone again, refresh, you see we'll have some records here. I think it will just be one. Okay, it's saying no records. It usually takes a little bit of time, right? But if it sets that, then let's just go with it, right? Let me see. Okay, great. So now let's check Pinecone to see whether it has good, and we have it over here. So we see that the data has been populated, and we have 70, right? 70, good. And this is good. So it means it's ready to work, and if we start interacting with it now, we'll be able to get some positive feedback. So save this and then click on chat. So it says, how can I help you? So let's just ask it some basic information that's already on the website, like what's the mission? What's the mission? What's your mission? Let me make it that way. What's your mission? So let's see. Good. Right. All right, so this works fine, and we can interact with it. So let's say, how can I contact you? How can I contact? Give me a telephone number. Let's be more specific. Give me the telephone number. Sorry, telephone number or email I can contact you on. So click on that, hit enter, sorry, and then let's see. Good, you can contact us by this info@divoya, and then at this. Great. So it works fine. This works fine, but like I said, with time it gets to deprecate, so I hope we've not maximized that. So now the last thing we need to do is to put this on our site. Okay, so how do we do that? So you click on the code, the braces over here, right? The opening, the closing brace over here, and then you can either embed it here, or if you want to have it as a link, right? So you can have it as a full page, or it will be a simple widget at the bottom, right? So, and if you also want to use the API aspect, so let me see, where is it? So you want to use it as a JavaScript code, right? You can do it here or something like this, just to interact with the API. Or if you want it in Python, you have it this way. So I'll recommend you just click this and then embed it in your site. You can place it anywhere in the body. So that's it, guys. I hope you like this video. I'll catch you in the next one.